Good afternoon. On behalf of the Tempe Police Department, we'd like to thank you for being here for this media availability. My name is Ronald Elcock, spelled R-O-N-A-L-D, last name E-L-C-O-C-K, and I'm a sergeant with the Media Relations Unit here at the Tempe Police Department. Shortly, we'll have our Tempe Police Department Police Chief, Sylvia Moyer. Her first name is spelled S-Y-L-V-I-A, last name Moyer, M-O-I-R. She will be coming to the podium here to present to you some of the facts and details that we know at this time regarding the officer-involved shooting that occurred on Tuesday, January 15th. During the chief's presentation, she will not be taking questions at the time during her presentation or following her presentation. However, following her presentation, we will provide the media with a packet emphasizing those details of the investigation that she's going to present. So, Chief Sylvia Moyer.
I must begin with expressing my deepest condolences to the young man's family. The loss of his life is tragic, deepened only in our department that it was due to a rapidly evolving incident with a Tempe police officer. I am very sorry for their loss. I am Sylvia Moyer, the Tempe Police Chief. I stand before you to be fully transparent, responsive, and honest about this very tragic event. I will describe the facts that we know them right now, and I will not entertain questions for this conference as was stated before. I am not legally able to use the young man's name because of his age, so I beg your forgiveness in how I refer to him. This is what we know. In the middle of the day on Tuesday, we received a call from a citizen. That citizen was reporting that there was a suspicious vehicle described as a gray Chevy pickup truck that was apparently involved in a burglary, and that truck was parked in the alley behind the home in the 4500 block of South Fair Lane. 1 minute later, our Tempe police officer, Hine, was dispatched to that call for service. Officer Hine arrived on scene in a marked police vehicle and wearing the full police uniform, the standard patrol uniform of a Tempe police officer. Officer Hine was wearing a body-worn camera placed on his chest, which provides a chest-high view. We acknowledge fully that this differs from the actual view of the officer, but a body-worn camera was activated in this call, and that body-worn camera footage aids in gathering evidence of what transpired. Officer Hine was parked in front of the suspicious truck in the alley. Officer Hine exited his marked patrol car and moved to a position of concealment behind a large plastic container. Within seconds, Officer Hine observed a suspect moving around inside the truck. The officer saw a suspect holding a handgun, and while the suspect was inside that truck, Officer Hine drew his service weapon. He maintained a position of concealment behind that plastic container while watching the suspect inside the truck. It appeared that that suspect saw Officer Hine as he exited the truck, and our officer yelled at the suspect. The body-worn camera lost sight of the suspect for a brief period as he started to run down the alley. The officer moved quickly to the rear of the truck and yelled for the suspect to show him his hands. The suspect continued to flee, and at some point, Officer Hine fired 2 shots from his service weapon. One of those rounds struck the suspect in the scapula area. Another round struck the wall at the end of the alley. Officer Hine immediately notified dispatch he'd been involved in a shooting and that the suspect was running down the alley with a gun. Officer Hine moved down the alley, found the suspect lying between the sidewalk and the street, It's at that time that Officer Hine advised dispatch that the suspect had a gun, shots were fired, the subject was down, and there was another subject in the alley. Officer Hine said he needed Tempe Fire and Medical Rescue at the scene. Officer Hine asked officers, requested officers, and directed officers to the scene to provide help to secure the scene and render aid. Our Tempe police officers arrived within minutes. They rendered aid. Tempe Fire Medical Rescue arrived. They transported the suspect to the hospital, where the suspect was later declared deceased. Some of the details of this investigation that are important. This was a rapidly evolving situation. The firearm found on the suspect, as depicted in the photos, was a replica model 1911 airsoft gun. We learned that the suspect had just stolen that firearm from the truck that he was in when the officer arrived. The suspect was also found in possession of other items that he had stolen from that truck. 2 independent witnesses reported that they saw the suspect running through the alley with what they reported was a firearm in the suspect's hand. A prosecutor, at the conclusion of this event, a prosecutor from the Maricopa County Attorney's Office responded to the scene, and we will later submit the criminal case to them for their review. Let me tell you about our officer. Officer Hine has been a police officer for 17 years. 14 of those years he served here with the Tempe Police Department. He was a member of the Army National Guard from 2007 to 2013, and he completed a combat deployment in Iraq in 2011. Our officer has been placed on administrative leave while the criminal and administrative investigations occur. In closing, it is our top priority to continue to provide professional police service and earn the trust of our community on every interaction, all while we are completing a thorough, fact-based investigation. We remain committed to being open, honest, and empathetic through this traumatic and trying event. I urge everyone to withhold judgment until the criminal and administrative investigations are concluded. And I'll say that again. I urge everyone to withhold judgment until the criminal and administrative investigations are concluded. And I thank you for your responsible reporting of this tragic event. As was noted earlier, on your way out, we will provide you with a CD that gives you many things. The 911 call from the citizen asking for help, the radio traffic of our officer. We will give you body-worn camera footage, and we will include the photos that you see before you and a photo of our police officer in the packet that you will receive. Thank you.